This here was some type of a church service where you can see this young lady here, her pants are not buttoned. She is even fiddling with it, even while she's standing there. You can see right at the front there, that's Prophet Innocent from Limpopo. There she is, goes shaking her butt, shaking her backside in this particular supposed church entire Hwajes that they were doing. Now, if you guys remember, Prophet Innocent, as he is popularly known, is the spiritual son to Apostle Masala. Now, it goes without fail. There he is right there. Remember, there was a period where I asked if you were still with Nanapoku, and Nanapoku made a video responding and saying, Mandems is not over here. Mandems has shifted sides. He likes doing his own things, and it is clear now that what he likes is perverting the pulpit, perverting the message of the gospel and its clarity. That's what I wanted to talk about just in a bit. But it goes without saying that these people have landed themselves in this position where they can claim to be of God. And while they do that, and you see what they do right after that, it tells you their interest. Because right after doing all of that stuff, now he's promoting his charity stuff. Oh yeah, they're out there doing charity things and the whole nine hajjas, whether it be clothing. They use charity in order to endorse themselves, and you can see it in all forms. And for many people, this sells it. For many people, this says, this is the right prophet and so forth. And this tells them who to follow. It's because this person has displayed some certain form of generosity, as you might put it. And so the only thing that they can actually even kind of like rebuttal you with is, you can do what he was doing, then why criticize what he was doing? And so when they see something like this, where young ladies are in church, I did see someone saying that the music they're playing is Bakati. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I can't play it over here. Bakati is, I think it's like Pretoria music and so forth. Like, yeah, it's like Pretoria stuff and whatnot. This girl is wearing these things that people go to the gym with, and she is shaking herself all over the place. Can you feel it? Yeah, bro. Can you feel it? While fiddling around with a zip, because the jeans are not even buttoned. And she keeps going to and fro to twerk over there, like the way she's doing now. She even goes next to the judges' table there, dances for them. I don't know if they had a recent thingy. That's what she's doing. She's twerking and gyrating her in church, in Muthala Spiritual Sons Church. And you'll ask yourself, what does this have to do? Because they say, they're trying to use this type of things in order to kind of draw the youth or bring in the youth or bring the youth over to church. Let me tell you, I was a dancer. You do not bring the youth. I was a dancer. I don't know if by now I must have already developed 2 left legs. I doubt I can still dance. The point of the matter is, you do not use the worldly things in order to draw men. The Bible is very clear in Romans. Okay? It is the gospel that is the power. It is not using their interest and their love for whatever worldly forms of things that they have out there that you use to draw them. You can see it clearly that this entire thing does not end in thing. It ends in lust and all kinds of things. You remember that particular video that came out where Bishop Zonda was speaking like a youth, speaking like one of these kids on the streets and stuff like that. And I mentioned this thing. The problem is these kids do not learn right behavior. What it teaches them is that their behavior in the world is valid. It validates the current behavior that they are busy with in the world. Now, what are we seeing in this video here? What we are seeing is people who we've continuously warned and said are perverting the gospel. They are perverting the state of the message. They are perverting the purity of the gospel. They have no interest in it. No, because they're pushing their own agenda. They're pushing whatever. And I've said, if you are such a person that is out there, you want to just do what you want to do and whatnot and stuff like that. Let's be very clear why you shouldn't do it in church. The church is a mandate. The church has a message. And that message is one. When you come, like for instance, with November, the hymn, and all this, these people, I don't know if they think they're doing the church a favor. We don't need your favor. The gospel goes around the world without that particular interference that you bring up when you are claiming your worldliness or doing whatever worldly stuff that you all are up to. The church doesn't need a favor. So stop trying to do the church or the gospel a favor by gyrating your bottoms open in a church, so-called. You're not doing the gospel any favors. As a matter of fact, you are taking the glory to yourself. Yeah, the glory here is to have backside. Yeah, the glory here is to have backside. Now, this is why not every church should have you. You who's listening to me. Not every church you should go to. Because you get there, they're busy gyrating their backside. Busy playing Bakat. You know when last I played Bakat? I must have been in high school. And somehow, some prophet who claims to hear from God. What God are you hearing when people can come in some form of competition thingy and be gyrating and jiving, dancing the way that she is for the judges? And also, a lot of this talent stuff that they do in most churches, they are very, very because the aim being to kind of draw the youth into their services. The aim ends up in selfishness. The aim ends up in selfishness. If you think about what you are seeing here, when a person perceives what they are doing to be for God and they are gyrating their backside, to what glory does that go to? Reason. The problem is you are too fake. You people are too fake. You are too false. Church members and the prophet. Yeah, some of these church members, as I've stated before, have no interest in the things of God. Why does she keep fiddling around with a zip? It's because her interests have not come in line with the interest of the church. These people's interest is in other things. And this brings the problem that a lot of people are facing now into light, as which we have stated. A lot of times when people rebuke these things, people say, you are just too skeptical. No, the church has a message. And you have the capability of misinterpreting that message. The responsibility of church leadership is to keep these things in check so that people are aware what is the standard. We are not here to see gyrating backsides and people fiddling with their zips and stuff like that. We are not in church for that. We don't want our kids and our youth to be seeing that. Someone claiming to hear from God doesn't know that. No, the church has its own message. So this tells you, Mandem does not hear God. Murito needs to ask himself, what do you hear, brother? Because you can't. It's not possible. You cannot be hearing from God and think this is okay. You can't. It just doesn't happen. Why is it that it's happening in your church? Because the agenda you're pushing is your own. There's nothing to do with the gospel. Beware of such people. But you know what? The Bible is very clear. He that is filthy, let him be filthy. He that is righteous, let him be righteous. There are people who are filthy. And by filthy, we're not talking down on them or speaking. No, we are talking about the nature in which you are. Trial. You are used to those things. Because you like, you bring it to church. Like your hypocrisy. You bring your hypocrisy on the pulpit. Take that stuff out of church. I don't want to hear that stuff. Okay, some of us came from there. We are exiting whenever you are taking us back. You do not take the youth out of worldliness by giving them worldliness. You take the youth out of worldliness by giving them the standard of the word. The Bible says the gospel, it is the power of God. Not bagat, not butt shaky in the pulpit. Not people will be fiddling with their zips in front of where the pastor is supposed to be standing. It is the gospel that's the power. It's not whatever. Actually, you are busy cooking up plans of how do we bring the youth. Leave your plans. You are too carnal. Follow the manual. The manual is very straightforward. The gospel, it is the power. The gospel is the power, not your carnal mindset. And when Jesus sends the apostles, it's very clear what message are they supposed to go. You are baptizing and you are teaching them of the things I've taught you, which Jesus told you back. Leave your bacatirism in your club. If you and your church want to go and do bakat, go do bakat in the world. But that tells you, there's no difference between the club and that thing they call a church. It's all the same WhatsApp group. That's why they can't distinguish. It's all the same. Why the holy and the profane are mixed Ishmael. In the name of we are drawing the youth. No, you are drawing the youth to distraction. Like I said, I was a dancer. I was not drawn to church by dancing. I was not drawn to church because my church used to have hypocrisy in there. As a matter of fact, I hated churches that used to have hip hop. Now there are people that do hip hop gospel and stuff like that. That's a different thing. That's a completely different thing. Personally, I'm not into that. Yes, because I came from hardcore hip hop. There's a separation. I just don't see that. You can do it, but me, I came from that side. I'm not trying to find a better version or a holier version. Yeah. And so for me personally, when I was still coming up in the faith, I remember 2011, there was a church that used to have like hip hop events. They would do Christian hip hop. I was completely against that stuff. From back then. So something's just wrong here. Feels like we're just trying to fit our fleshly likes into this behavior here. And so personally, I've always been repelled to such things. Yeah, it just doesn't click well. It doesn't click well. It didn't click well back then when I was just newly born again. It doesn't click well now. I was not drawn into church. When I came to salvation, the first time, that church I was just visiting. When I came to church, it was the word that drew me. I was drawn by the word. So that's a part of my testimony that doesn't change. I was drawn by the word. It was just simply that. It was not all these things that the church was doing. And the thing that made me committed to studying the Bible and doing what, it wasn't because the church was doing fun, fancy activities. When I went to Mount Calvary church in Berea, they used to have like a youth thing. Youth would be dancing and youth. I didn't attend those things. I'm talking about back then, over 10 years ago, when I got born. I didn't attend those things because the reason why I came here is the gospel. It is the power of unto salvation. Gimmicks, leave gimmicks. The commission is very clear, the message you are supposed to be carrying. Stop adding. You'll only bring blasphemy by adding. Like this one. What is this? Now you want me to believe that you can hear God, brother. You need to really question yourself. No, after such behavior that people were doing in your church, that lady was doing in your church with Bakatirism, they are busy playing Bakatirism and whatnot. You want me to believe that you hear God? No, you can't. No. And I'm not saying that someone can't do Bakati with a gospel tune. They might be able to do that. I don't know what that looks like. Yeah, I'm not a musician. I just know when I hear it, I will know, is this of God or is it not? But personally, whatever that lady was doing, can you feel it? Yeah, boy. I was like, what are you feeling? What are you feeling? Canalism. It's its own version of theology. Oh, stop using tricks and gimmicks to draw the youth to church. It is the gospel. If they are not aligned to the gospel, that's it. You will only bring us problems. I once visited Hillsong. Waste of my time. The church is full of gays, all kinds. Why? Gimmicks. They are busy with gimmicks. And a church that's full of gimmicks sidelines the gospel. A lot of these churches that do music, they focus so much on music, they sideline the gospel. The gospel is the center of the church. Spirituality with the daily Christian commentary video. This is an example of why you do not mix the world with the church. Because a prophet, not long ago, he was being exposed for being drunk. Then later on, he was exposed with an audio where he's asking to be reduced. And the lady was saying, Then there was other issues. There's just so many things that this guy does. How can such a person still claim to be hearing from God? But to those that have an ear, let them hear. Others, there's nothing. They don't hear nothing. Why? Because the truth has never been something that they were interested in. All we can do is warn. Others will decide what to do with it. Okay? And I'll see you later. Y'all have a good